Hello, fellow translators. There's a camera. This is another video where I'm going to be talking about some of the main issues, preliminaries of translation, but I think there's some of the basics, but there are also some of the fundamentals that need to be covered as translators. And I know I've covered this before in various videos and stuff I've talked about, but I think it needs a video to itself. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. And this particular video deals with agencies and end clients. What are they? What are the differences? What are the similarities? What should you be shooting for? Why should you be shooting for this or that and the other? And how do you treat them differently? And so it's kind of a big topic, but let's try to condense it into the basics and fundamentals, and let's get into this. So first of all, what are agencies and what are end clients? Agencies are translation agencies. When you start out as a translator, most of your clients will be agencies. Now these agencies act as intermediaries, as agents between you and an end client. So let's say there's a bank that needs a translation done. They'll usually contact an agency and they'll say, we need this translation done in 7 different languages. The agency will contact 7 different translators. You're one of the translators they contact. You do the translation for the agency. Agency takes together all the translations that were done, make sure they're done well, blah, 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 sends them back to the end client. That's it. So you will start working for these agencies. But a lot of translators, after a while, want to work for end clients. Why? Because you get paid more. If you work directly with the bank, well, then the bank will pay you basically what they were paying the agency, because the agency obviously takes their cut as a middle person, as an intermediary. And so you could get paid more by working for the end client. However, there are tons of benefits in working for the agency. So that's why at the beginning, I always recommend working for an agency first before shooting for the end clients, because there's so many things you need to deal with. So let's cover them briefly, some of the main advantages that you have when you're dealing with agencies. When you're dealing with agencies, first of all, and I think one of the biggest things is they do the marketing for you. They do the marketing, they do the sales. Anyone who's a translator and tries to find end clients, you'll realize, and I had this when finding end clients and also when setting up my own agency, pretty much all my time was spent in sales and marketing and no time in translation pretty much, because if you don't have any clients, you're not doing any translation. So you need to find your own clients. You need to convince them that you're the best person for the job and that they should hire you. You need to find people who need translations at that point in time and make sure that they hire you, et cetera, et cetera. And it takes up a lot of time and a lot of effort. And you basically spend all your time doing that. With agencies, you don't have to do that because they cover all that. And you just need to get on their database, and you might need to, different agencies have different things. They need to look through your resume or get certification, or you need to pass a test or a translation test or what have you. But as long as you can kind of get on their database, then you just wait for them to send you jobs, and you can have several agencies and they're sending you jobs. And so it makes it a lot more comfortable when the jobs come to you. Another thing that they'll do is they will make sure that the job is detailed correctly. And this is a big thing that you don't think about very often, but they'll tell you, okay, I have this thing that needs to be translated Italian to English of 1,050 words, and I need it by Friday. Can you handle it? And you say yes or no or whatever, and you kind of get into the thing. But that's already a lot. Trust me, when you contact end clients, you'll be very surprised as to what they'll say. And I've had it all over the board when end clients contact me. And the fact is, because they're not part of the industry and they don't know. I had a law firm, that I've been doing my usual sales and all that. And this law firm said, okay, we need this translation done. We have, I think it was 11 different folders of files of contracts. How much would it cost to get them translated? And this was when I was setting up as an agency. So I wrote back, I didn't know where to start. I'm like, so first of all, which languages? Second of all, and so what I would end up usually saying to end clients is I would ask them, I'd have to ask, can you send me the documents that need to be translated? Then I can send you a precise price quote and timeline, etc. Usually they can't though, so you need to go by a sample, and they really don't know what they're talking about. I had another client who said they needed stuff translated into traditional Chinese, and they needed a big document translated to traditional Chinese. So, I lined up the translator and all that. And luckily, and because they were so convincing and so authoritative, that we need this in traditional Chinese, we need it, and luckily, because they mentioned Shanghai at a certain point, and I'm like, hold up. If this is for Shanghai, I think you need simplified Chinese, not traditional. Are you sure you need traditional? And she wrote back, she's like, wait, I thought traditional is what they use in China. I was like, no. It's simplified in China. Traditional they use in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and then like other parts. But like it's, and so it was this big thing. And luckily I had asked ahead of time. But these are things that end clients don't take into account. And so agencies really filter out a lot of the things. And so by the time the job comes to you, it's really been stripped down to its bare essentials, and you know exactly what's needed and how, and the agency knows sort of what's possible. They won't ask you to translate 20,000 words in one day or something like that, which end clients often do because they have no concept. Again, end clients aren't dumb. They're very smart people usually, but they're in their own industry, not yours. They don't know if stuff is translated per word. They'll think it's per hour, per this, per that. They just don't know. And so agencies do that for you. They also handle a lot of the project management side, which means, dealing with a difficult end client or stuff like that, but also setting up a glossary if that's needed. And whatever troubleshooting might be needed. Also, they take on the risk, and they should. Often this becomes an issue, but an agency should take on the risk of payment. Because your contract is with the agency, they'll pay you once you do the job. Then they have to get paid by the end client, which often is just as in fact, more difficult than getting paid by the agency, because clients can be all over the place. And so they take on that additional risk. So agencies, I know a lot of people complain about agencies, and there are tons of bad agencies doing bad things out there, but agencies actually fulfill a very important role. And so that's why I say at the beginning, try to work just with agencies so you can concentrate on the translation and just do your work, the best work you can do, build up your portfolio, build up your knowledge, build up your client database, all that good stuff, and just concentrate on that part, because contacting end clients can be a big, huge, difficult process. Now, having said that, why do people then want to contact end clients? Well, and actually, let me quickly do a couple other things. I'll tell you a couple other reasons why you want to work with agencies. They also have repeat business, which end clients might not. A banker that needs something translated, or like the law firm that needed something translated, they only needed that translated, and that was it. I did a lot of marketing and effort to get that one job, but then they don't need translations all the time, and so that was it. Then I need to start on someone else. While agencies, they constantly have a constant flow of translations. So you'll get things more regularly from translation agencies rather than from end clients. Plus, they usually get the bigger names, which can help a lot. Let's face it, you by yourself might be able to get some local bank, but these big agencies can get the big banks and the big clients, the Fortune 500 companies, stuff like that. And so these clients obviously end up being reliable and having steady work and good work, and anyway, et cetera, stuff like that. And so agencies can be very useful. Now, why would you want to go for end clients? Well, the fact is you get paid more. That's the thing. You take out the middle person, take out the intermediary, then you get paid more by end clients. And so they are a goal that people want to have, but they do take a lot more work. You need to handhold the end client. You need to sort of educate them, all the while being respectful, obviously. And you need to be able to, first of all, market them, convince them that you're the best, and kind of handhold them through the whole thing and work through the process with them. And it can really be an issue. I think I did a video before of when and why it's sometimes better to charge the end client more rather than less, precisely because they don't know how the industry works, and it's a whole thing. And so really, working with end clients can be a real pain, but it can also pay more. So my recommendation is to work with agencies. And as you start working with end clients or start targeting end clients, feel free to target them, but raise your prices. And you can see how much you should raise them by. Raise them by 50 and up, I would say, because you're going to have to deal with a lot more work. But usually rates are higher when you deal with end clients anyway. And you can kind of dictate your own terms a bit more. But when you're targeting end clients, do higher rates because it will be more difficult and they will require a lot more work per client to deal with. But yeah, you can get paid more in the end. But just don't forget all the things that agencies do. There are many bad agencies out there, but a good agency is very worth having a relationship with because they do handle a lot of stuff for you. And that's basically it. That's the difference between agencies and end clients. As you can see, I talked a lot about what agencies are because end clients they're all types. There are all types of companies out there or even private citizens or stuff like that. And they can be citizens, they can be banks, they can be organizations, they can be government entities, what have you. And you can be, from your local church to a big Fortune 500 company. But usually they need to be handheld. You need to explain to them how it works. Or very often, especially if they're a company, they don't want to listen to how it works, how the sausage is made. They want the end results. And so you need to tell them how much it costs and in what amount of time. And you need to do it based on the information you're given, which often isn't very much. So it really can be an issue there. So take all this into account when you're dealing with end clients and just know what the difference is between agencies and end clients. And that's pretty much it. Feel free to let me know if I missed anything or what your experience has been transitioning from agencies to end clients or dealing with both of those, because it's always an issue there. And there are a lot of stories, a lot of war stories about that. But otherwise, I'll talk to you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.